Hi everyone, I want to show you an overview of my plugin TotallyMCRestAPI. This plugin is dedicated for creating the HTTP endpoints for your commands or your thoughts to everything that you want to expose to the world. So first of all, we should at least remove the old version of plugin because I have to test it. Okay, I will download it from plugin site. Start the server. No, it's not yet downloaded, so I have to wait for it. Okay, I will try to start the server because this indicator is somehow bugged. Okay, our default configuration is generated, and as you can see in config YAML there are two configurations entries. First of all, the port, so on that port our little HTTP server will be exposed, and the section calls, which points to the file that will be parsed in order to create the endpoints. And as you can see over here, we have from the default the free callbacks, online players nickname, and the help. This is because at least for me the easiest way to get into the plugin is to just have something for examples. So this is already working, and you can see on the port 8888 from your local host, for example, the endpoint online players nickname. It's unauthorized because in the section of plugin that is dedicated for this endpoint, there is the section with token enabled true, and you have the section with tokens when you can specify which token can access this endpoint. So in order to have access to this, you have also to make a get request with the parameter token and one of the available tokens. So no unauthorized persons can access this endpoint. And as you can see, there are no online players. Maybe I will just join the server, and now the Rajikus is again online. There are also from the standard side, there are also the online player callback, also with token test token, and this is only one. After I will quit this world, this is changed to 0. And also the next advantage of this plugin is that you can create your endpoints from the command output. So for example, the route help will execute the command this is the also the alias for the help as console, and you can see the help over here. This is exactly the output of that command. Not exactly that, but I think that this one, or maybe this one, exactly, because it's executed via console. Okay, so let's take a look at the configuration. So for first, in order to create the default callbacks like players online callback or players nicknames callback, you have just to create the JSON entry with first object callback with class name that is representing the real class. This is not listed yet, but I will update the configuration entry as soon as possible. And data is required for some additional things, like for the other callbacks, not exactly in default Java callbacks, but for example in this output coming config command callback, you can specify the command to execute, and for example in later stage also the additional params. So the route of this entry is for the point that will execute this callback. So when I will go to the online players, this endpoint is created. Of course, it's alarm me that it's unauthorized. Okay, next request type is get or post or delete or path. This is something for specify in which method you want to make this callback available. So for example, when I will take a look with Postman and change this to the post, okay, so for example, I think that was the online players, yes. And I will try to send the callback post with the for that endpoint with BAT token, for example. Of course, it's unauthorized because the token is test token. And I have the answer. And when I will try to get this is not found. Okay. Next entry is token enabled. If this is true, it will check for the rest of tokens array, and if nothing or BAT token will be passed to the endpoint, then it will say that is unauthorized. Okay, so let's take a look at the generic callbacks, because this is the most advantage of this plugin. So for first, we have the classback output coming command callback, and for example, we want to create the callback that will give the user n, so for example Razikus, the 300 X points, and in order to do that we have only to change that command. So for example, that was the exp, right? First parameter, so for example exp, and second parameter nickname. Okay, so Now we have to get these parameters from somewhere. So we have to create the proper road. So the road will be exp the first parameter. This have to be exactly this, and nickname. Let's check how it will works. There is not yet the reloading of that plugin, but it will be available soon. Okay, so now we will try to execute this callback. So the 300 and Rasgus. And as you can see, there is the output of this command, and the exp is increasing. There are a lot possibilities for that, and I think that you can see that is very powerful. For example, you can get the baltop command. So we will see if this works. Yes, it works. And we have the Razicus that have a lot of money. I don't know how it was the command. Money set. Bal at bal. I forgot the command how to add the money. Pay, maybe pay. Money give. No, echo. Okay, and now after some, of course it have to be reloaded because this is cached somehow. Maybe I will restart the server to make it faster. And as you can see, the player have now the changed money. The next possibility of the plugin, this is the newest one. Sorry, my fault. There's also the additional parameters. So in order to make the additional parameter, you have to specify the name. And here you have to specify the parameter. So name, for example, Razicus. And now I will restart that. And now when I get baltop, I will get the money of parameter name, and name is resolving to Razicus. And as you can see, name it's quite nice for the internal configuration. Okay, and now the last advantage that I create yesterday or today are groovy callbacks. So this is the most powerful thing of the plugin, because we can create the dynamic Java callbacks that will be resolved, compiled in runtime, and you will see what we can do with that. So for first we have to create the callback with class name. Class name is of course output. No, this is not this. It's groovy callback. Of course this will be listed somewhere, so maybe after this video. And we have the data with the file name. And for example, from plugin folder, okay. So for example, in route test, request type will be get, token and so on will be disabled. So now we will create the test.groovy. And we can create now our little plugin that will implement the callback call with params. So for first we have to import some additional thing. And also import the main heart of the plugin. And now we should create a class and override the main method and for example return test. Okay, now I will restart the server and I will try to. So as you can see, we can access the whole plugin, whole Java code, and we cannot even dig into this plugin. So for example, when we want to use the BookKit something, or for example log something, we can do the easily with TotallyMCRestAPI get instance or instance, I don't remember, I think that was the get instance. For example, get server, I don't know it, or this one, get logger info blah blah. Okay, and now we will see that we can easily access this console, and as you can see we have the logged blah blah, and possibilities of that are unlimited because you have access to full BookKit server. So for example, get server that I don't remember, sorry, I have to go to the NetBeans and see which ones was available here. So for example, get operators. This one will be, I think, nice. So in order to get the operators of the server, you can just only return that. I saved that. Now I'm restarting the server to see if this will work. I don't know. So it's doing something, I don't know what. So only, maybe only size, because this is not good example, because this is returning the offline players and so on. So the offline operators are only one. You can, I will show you. So for example, you can just to get server and access all these commands to do something, to manage your server, to manage and access the other plugins, other things. All are available for you. For example, the shutdown, I think that it will work, I don't know. And this is disabled. Okay, that was all from my side. I think that this plugin is curious, it's very funny for me to developing. If you have any issue, any feature request, just go to the page of the plugin, see the issues and put here your request. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, and hear you soon.